Okay guys, hope you're well. This is kind of round 2 to something I did yesterday. Yesterday I did an update of the small account and the Vanguard because I actually completed the challenge that was put in front of me. Now today I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with that money. Okay, it's kind of a parting gift, shall we say, as I sign off. So let's jump into this. So this is my Vanguard. It slipped back a little bit this week. It did get over 100,000. And what I've been saying is I'm going to be putting it into a singular market, which I'm going to. So I'm going to tidy all of this up, this portfolio. We're going to have an emerging market, but I want the cheapest one. Let me go through this and then I'll show you the small account. You'll see where the money came from and then I'm going to buy something, okay? So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to drop them into ISAs because I want it so that I can get my hands on the money when I like. And what we're going to do is look to invest into this ISA, okay? So how do you find it? What am I investing in? All right, well, the first thing is I'll come up to here, list of funds, and I'm doing this from the start. Normally I would just go straight into it. And you've got 86 funds to choose from, okay? Tells you here. Click on your past performance so you can kind of see whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. Now, I definitely want a global fund and an emerging fund. Well, my global fund, as you know, is the all cap FTSE. All right, so I'm going to take that off. And I'm left with the emerging markets. Why am I looking at emerging markets? Well, because I'm using little bits of money and I really not that fussed about it because it came from the small accounts, little prop and save the change. I'll show you that in just a second. But if we look here, we've got 6 results, okay? So how do you pick which one? Well, the next part of it is, do I want it active or index? I don't want it active. I don't want anybody trying to manage this thing because I'm going to do it myself. I just want index that'll follow an index pattern. So if I click that, I'm now down to 5 funds. Then I want to see what the risk rating is. Well, I want it reasonably on the high side, but I don't want to be too mental. So I'm just going to go 6 and 5. I'm down to 4 funds. All right. So now all I need to do is just have a look, see which one I quite fancy, and away we go. Now we've got this one here. Now all of the markets lost in and around this time. Now this one costs about 50 quid per unit. That is there. It's a one that I've been looking at anyway, and it's an accumulation. That's something I want as well. All the dividends, all the interest, I just wanted to go back into it. Okay. So, all right, so we can look at this, flick that back, see what else. We've got this one here. They're all 100% shares. So there's 1,300 holdings in this. Well, that's not a lot really to play with. There's 3694 in here, and there's 3990 in here. Okay. Well, let's have a look at past performances between them. Well, this is the new kid on the block. And this one here, it's not quite as good as what it looks. Likewise here, it's just sort of toddling along. So let's have a little look. So if I look at this one, which is the one that I'm actually swaying to, it's very cheap. There it is there. 5.25. Okay, all right, that charge is a little bit high, but it's got loads and loads of stocks inside it, and its benchmark is the FTSE Emerging All Cap. So that's what it's going to work against. I think this is a pretty darn good option. Okay, so I'm going to invest in this one, and I'm going to put 600 quid into it. Now I'm going to show you where that 600 quid comes from. So we're going to continue with that. Okay, and this is what we're going to do. Okay, so I'm quite happy with it. Just need to do a few odds and sods and pay for it. Okay, so go to purchase, go to there. We're going to put it in the ISA. We're just going to go on the next available price, because it's going to be a long-term growth. And the money that I've already got, I'm going to dump in here, and there's its ticker code, V3MB. And we're going to do a single payment of 600 quid. And you might scratch your head on that, but this will make sense in just a second. Okay, I'm going to go with a debit card, Visa debit. I'm just going to pause the camera now while I put my card in. Okay, so that's done. We've purchased that, and we'll go to the overview. And if I go to the portfolio, there's the 600 quid in. So we're back over 100,000. Now, over the course of the next day or so, they will buy that fund, and I'm going to tidy all of the others as you've been watching. Now, what have you been watching? Well, I set this up, which is a small Vanguard account. Now, this one's in my web trader, and I dropped an almighty clanger on it. Big clanger, which is, I've put it here. Okay, get the balance back up. So what happened? Well, when we're good doing scruffs in the sun, I actually left the position running. Or, well, not running, I left it open. It got triggered while I was traveling, and then when I finally got back on, it put a big hole in it. So I paid the price, and I paid that off, and I put the money back into it. I'm not perfect, I do make mistakes, okay? So in November, see, that was down by 76. I couldn't take any money out of it because I was repaying that back. So that profit paid off that loss. So I'm back to square one to start again tomorrow. So this account is back up to 319, but I couldn't take any money from it, okay? But you've just seen me drop some money in. So what I'm going to do is this. So we put a bit of save the change in at the end of the month. And for the first of the month, what it is, it's actually 300 from there, and it's 300 from a small prop, giving it 600. Okay, so I can drop that into there if I want, just so that we can kind of see what's going on with it. But at the end of the month, I'll kind of add this up and I'll balance it out just so that we can see it, because the current balance is 199 on that fund, but because I'm moving them around, the balance of it, it's actually higher than that. It'll be about 800 quid. All right, so that's kind of my growth on it. The growth is minimal, but I'll show you the live account as and when. It really depends on whether you're interested in this or interested in the channel in general. It's getting to the point where sometimes you've got to think, is the hassle worth the reward? And at the moment it's not. But for the guys that do like it, I want to inspire you, and that's what this is all about. Okay, so I keep a running track of just what I dump into it, and then once I've got it into a single pot, I'll come back and I'll show you this. Now, if I flick over onto my other journal, which is where the other 300 quid came from that you saw yesterday, it was here. So I withdrew 343 quid from it. Now, I also, if you bear with me, I should have a snapshot of something. Give me a second. Quickly find it, just so you can see it. There you go. And that's what the little prop paid me as well. So collectively between the two of them, it was 600 quid. And that 600 quid is now just gone over into there, and the surplus money. So what can you do with that surplus money? Well, there's lots of things you can do. You can buy like a little prop fund, like another one to run aside it. You can get a high stakes for 39 quid. So the 45 quid or whatever it is that was left over the top of it, because I just rounded it into two 300 quid figures. I'd take Joanne for lunch, buy myself a Star Wars figure, certainly go to Starbucks and have a coffee, because we all know Scruffy likes a coffee. And just plod along, have something for my work. But this is the account you saw me set up yesterday, and I started it with 600 quid, but the balance has changed. Why is that? That's because on a weekend you can trade Bitcoin. Now I only trade it on a weekend if I feel the need to. And it's a little salute to the redneck, Yoxie. Kind of reminded me last night while I was out, and I thought, well, do you know what? I'll go trade it for him. So I have. And I'm in, I'm out, I'm in, I'm out, I'm in and out, because with Bitcoin, it's really dangerous. I don't like it. So I do kind of scalp it a little bit, but it added 1771 and a little bit from yesterday as well. But again, look at the transactions. They're pretty darn small. But it means, well, actually, I can show you. There we go. There's the 600 quid coming in that you saw me. And then there you go. And it's 100% strike rate across the board. Why is it 100%? Because I do my homework. I always do my homework. And not only do I do my homework, I think about what I'm doing. And then there we go. If I flick that over into December, they all marry up. I'm keeping the same principles, but now I can increase. I'm not working much in December, and I'm probably not going to be working much in January either. So my targets are going to be realistic. So let me just touch on that as I end this off. What's the moral here? Well, you saw me start the journey. Well, in fact, I'll show you just quickly for those who might have seen it. If I flick the summary back over, because I actually want to put something in. Start with 200 quid, and we started it in September. Now, we had 200 quid in January. We built it up, I bought a holiday. Built it up, bought a holiday. I had 3 holidays off this, plus various other things. And then the guys around this time said, wouldn't it be nice to do a Christmas pot? Because there was new guys coming into the squad, etc. And when you come into the squad, do make yourself known. Don't sit in the shadows. Don't think you're on your own, because you're not. There is a brutal sense of humor in there, and I'm the first to say, if you're a snowflake, don't come in. You know, it's that simple. I get battered left, right and centre on a daily basis. To give you an idea, 365 days a year, 24 hours a day, every 20 to 30 minutes there's some kind of abuse comes in, whether it's on WhatsApp, comment, email. I see guys in the squad that if somebody says one bad thing to them, they absolutely break and have hissy fits. Not one of them could probably do what I do. Living in the public eye like this is very difficult, and sometimes it can make you jaded. And it's not jaded. You just kind of can spot people a mile off, shall we say. But when it comes to the group, you've got to remember, most people come in with the wrong expectation, and that needs to be hammered out. And if you can't take it, probably trading's not for you. And a lot of people don't like that, and I'll touch on that as well. But anyway, cut onto this. So they asked to do this, and I've done it in front of them right the way through. Some fell off, some stayed the course. The ones who fell off, again, they were looking for big money too quick, over expectation. I didn't. I built it up gently, okay? And it's that 200 quid is now been 1,066. Fantastic. I was also asked about why I'm decreasing leverage. Well, what I want to do now is get to a baseline. I want a baseline of 1,000, and then I'm going to drop the leverage again. Okay, so that's what I'm doing here, and that's the journey. So over expectation, let's get this one out of the way first. If you're coming in with a couple hundred quid and you think you're going to make millions and millions out of it, you're not. If you come in with a couple hundred quid and you look to build it, and if you ended the year on 220, you have outperformed every bank in the land. So really what you're trying to do is make your money work for you. That's what this job is all about. Now, there's also 2 ways of the money working. You can put the money into the market. So if you're on, say, £1 a point and you have a 50 pips stop, you've essentially put £50 into the market, because that's what you're going to lose. But is that £50 being used? No, because what if it only came back into you, maybe it's 20 pips, and that means only 20 quid of it was used. So what's the real term money? The real term money is the position size. So you have to try to think about that as well. And this is kind of where 10 pips and minimum targets come from, and I do stress minimum. For every pound that's actually working in the market, that's your position size. What if you didn't think about your account size and just thought about increasing the position? So if that made a movement of 10, that £1 has now made £10. It's a different way of thinking. It's return on investment thinking. So if I put £1 in the market and I get 10 quid out of it, I think that's a good trade. Now, if I put £1 in the market and it ran to 50 pips and I let it do it, then that's not a good trade. But I already know I've got 50 quid in the market as well. So what I'm doing is I'm spending £50 to enable the position size to operate. And then I'm looking to 10 times or 20 times each position size. That's how you make money. It's how you edge forward. So my expectation is realistic. I'm not swinging at the fences all the time. I know when I'm starting to gamble, because that's when your trigger finger starts getting a bit itchy and you want to be in. At that point, I walk away. How did I overcome that? I have binary questions. I look at the chart once an hour. Top of the hour, I ask a question. Is it ready? Yes or no? If it's yes, then I'll start looking at it. That doesn't mean to say I have to go straight away. It just means the chart is ready, and then I might have a waiting point, and then I'll watch each 15-minute candle till the criteria catches up. And then when I go to market, I'm then looking to get that position to do X amount, right? So that's one way of looking at it. Now, what happens is you see a lot of the noise. And when you got somebody like me who comes along and says, right, this is how you do it, and it's different to everything you know, you naturally throw your toys out of the pram. Why? Because you're indoctrinated into this belief. But think of it this way. If 90% of you fail, does that not mean 90% of what you listen to is bollocks? Now, that could come from me as well. You mightn't like what I do, which is why I constantly say, don't like it, don't watch it. All right? I am me. I can't change me. I've got no desire to change me. But my trading is on point because I love my job. Something for you to think about. And how do I put this across? Well, I show it in real time. And that's all I can ever do, guys. It's all I can ever do. So if you're going to build small, be realistic. And if you're realistic, that means you're calm. And then if you're calm, you'll enjoy the fruits. Now for me, I've built this up. We've now got that fund to sort of like, we only started the emerging fund mid-November, and we're into December now, and it's already 800 quid. So you tell me, who's got it wrong? Obviously me. Anyway, I'm going to enjoy my coffee. I'm going to sign off and wish you all well.